It is time, everyone. The time is now 9 a.m. on the eastern side of the United States. Time to see the culmination of the battle between one Sung Jin Woo, the current Shadow Monarch, and Antares, the King of Dragons, and the Monarch of Destruction. Good lord, I love doing voices. Morning, peoples, and yo, peoples! Kyushu92 here. You already know what it is. This is another Wednesday morning where we get to read Solo Leveling. Let's not beat around the bush, and let's go ahead and get started. I'm so glad I set my alarm to 8:30 just so I could be prepared, because you never know. Let's get started. Solo Leveling! Chapter 177. Just a bit of a recap. The last chapter was not as talkative as the chapters that we've been, as the chapters we've seen leading up to the last chapter. It was a very action-heavy oriented chapter with only words being spoken at the end. But Jin ends the chapter by completely slicing Antares straight down the middle. And you see an image of Jin as he is now. You see an image of his father. You see an image of Ashbourne himself. And you see an image of Jin before he became what he is now. All of those facsimiles, like those after images of Jin bringing his dagger down. His very first dagger, I think, is Kashi's dagger. The dagger he got from the giant snake in the first dungeon he did. That's the dagger he used to slice down Antares. But as he does so, 3 holes in the sky just open up after he slices down. So, let's see where this goes from here. Chapter 177. And it starts with Antares still speaking after being completely, I think the phrase is bifurcated. Bifurcated when you're sliced from top to bottom completely. It's not a decapitation. It's not a bisection. I think it's bifurcated. My dismemberment names is a bit rusty. I'll probably have to look those up. I really don't think I should be looking up the different types of dismemberment. That actually sounds bad when you think about it. I'll still look it up regardless to make sure that I'm not giving you the wrong information. But Antares, still sliced through, says, I didn't expect that one, but it shouldn't have been possible. I'm certain I didn't see a gate when I first arrived here. And as he's saying this, the thing is, Antares is still standing upright. He's trying to have his own Whitebeard moment, where he's dying, but he's still standing. And as he's saying this, numerous rulers are floating outside in the distance. Like the soldiers of the rulers, not the actual rulers themselves, but the soldiers of the rulers, the 2-winged one. I'm certain I didn't see a gate when I first arrived here. An enormous amount of energy would have been required to connect the 2 worlds. So how is the ruler's army here? Yep. It shows a zoomed out view because Jin is knelt on the ground, but the ruler's army comes through those portals. Not like the ruler's army affected by Ashbourne's powers. No, the actual ruler's army. They're there now. Just as soon as Jin sliced through Antares, they came through. Were they waiting? Was his death a trigger? Were you aiming for this the entire time? To distort space with the clash of great powers, bringing your allies from the other world here. The reason you distracted the army, and the reason you brought me here. I simply thought it was because you wanted to have an undisturbed fight. And here we have some ruler soldiers that have like some very unique looking helms and different dresses and stuff. I wonder if these are like high ranking ones. Like generals or something. Maybe. We'll find out. I simply thought it was because you wanted to have an undisturbed fight. But there's no way you could have communicated with the rulers. And then Jin, as the shadow power starts to leave his body that enveloped him, says, there was a way. The vessel of the rulers. And as he says vessel of the rulers, Andre's face pops up. The vessels that they lend powers to were still here. And then Liu Zhigong's face pops up. So I guess the combined might of all the hunters who have the ruler's power in them, the combined power of the ruler's power within them, resonating with the massive amounts of magic energy in the air, served as a connector for the rulers to be able to make their way to the real world. That's what I'm assuming. Because Jin says, the vessel of the rulers, the vessels that they lend powers to were still here. And then Antada says, is that so? So you use the vessels to prepare a gate to this place. And as he's standing there, you just see the endless army of the rulers just floating and flying above them. You found a way to win the war, even if you were to lose the battle. It's my complete loss for only looking at the smaller battle. And then someone says, it's you, isn't it? The monarch of White Flames and the Beast Monarch. You're the one who commanded them. Oh, wait. I think... Then... No. This is Jin still. It's you, isn't it? Sometimes it's tricky based on the mannerisms, but let's keep it with Jin. It's you, isn't it? The monarch of White Flames and the Beast Monarch. You're the one who commanded them to attack the Shadow Monarch. Did the monarch of White Flame tell you this? And then it cuts back to Baron. Way back when he was speaking to Ashbourne in the past. And I remember when I originally read this chapter and it had wingdings, but I just thought he was saying wingdings, but it was actually his speech being in an unintelligible language at the time. But he's still speaking it here because you can't, it's all scribbles here in his speech bubble as Ashbourne is holding his face up. And then Jin smiles and says, Ashbourne. And then Antadez's eyes gets wide. And then Jin says, Ashbourne wanted me to send you his regards. And then Jin just flips him off. Oh. And then Antada says, you bastard. And as he tries to bear down on Jin, he stops. Because he gets stabbed in multiple spots. He gets speared in multiple spots by numerous soldiers of the rulers. Before he can even move, he's stabbed in the arm. He's stabbed straight through his head, out of his chest, and straight through the midsection. I don't think I've ever seen a spear wound that isn't like through the chest or in through a limb, but I never seen one where the spear goes through the head, and then out of the chest. And Antades can't move, and then Antades looks up. Yo, it's one of the big dudes. It's one of the big dogs of the rulers. The brightest fragment of luminosity. The world is covered by such bright light and such dark shadows. I didn't have any chance of winning from the start. I shall wait within the true eternal rest, not the illusionary eternal rest that you created. I shall meet you again there. And then as he's saying this, Antades starts to crumble away. This is the official death of the second strongest monarch in the series. I shall see you again there. And then Jin says, don't worry. I'll see you again. I'll see you again soon enough. And then it just shows an image of Antadez's ashes just fading into the air. And then one of the rulers, here's the thing, I want to create a voice for the rulers. I didn't create one back then, but I want to create one right now. I want to create one. Or at least just give my voice an echo effect. But, okay, here we go. I just want it to be like an echo effect. Just for this moment. Oh, it wants me to update. I'm not messing with that. Last time I lost all my stuff. Okay, where's an echo sound effect? I need an echo. Or maybe cave. You have ended the war. No, that's not good enough. Chorus. Where's the chorus one? Cathedral. You've ended our war. I don't know how I could ever show my appreciation. Then Jin says, I don't know if this could be called showing your appreciation, but I do have a request. I probably should have made this a favorite so I could stop going back to it every now and again. Hold on, let me save it. A request? And then Jin says, it's something only you can do for me. And he's surrounded by numerous soldiers of the rulers. No, the rulers themselves. He's surrounded by the rulers themselves. It's something only you can do for me. And then the ruler says, I will do everything within my powers to aid you. Then Jin just says, just once more. And then Jin says, could I use the cup of reincarnation just once more? And then all of the rulers just stand there as he made that request. Out of all the things that Jin could have asked, he's asking for the cup of reincarnation? What does he plan to do? And one of them asks, did you just ask whether you could use the cup of reincarnation to turn back time? And Jin says, that's right. And then the ruler continues. Even if you were to turn back time using God's gadget, the consciousness of the higher beings will still remain. You'd still do it even though the deceased monarchs would come back to live with their memories from this life intact? And then Jin says, that's right, and once you turn back time, I want you to not send anyone to Earth. I will take care of the monarchs and their armies by myself in the dimensional gate. Wait, yo, Jin, what are you doing? He wants to use the cup of reincarnation and it'll bring back everyone. It'll bring back the Beast Monarch. It'll bring back Legia. It'll bring back Yogumunt. It'll bring back Keiresha. It'll bring back everyone, even Baron. It'll bring back everybody. But Jin says, that's right, and once you turn back time, I want you to not send anyone to Earth. I will take care of the monarchs and their armies by myself in the dimensional gap. Then the ruler says, you're willingly taking on the entire war all by yourself. What's your reason for doing this? We've used the cup of reincarnation many times, but this is the best result we've gotten yet. Then it shows Jin's dagger in the ground after all of this, and Jin says, I lost too many people in this battle, and I want to bring them back. And then one of the rulers says, hold on, I'm clicking between these sounds. I hope you will indulge me. The durability of the cup of reincarnation has almost been exhausted. If you are to fail this time, you won't be able to turn back time again. If you stop now, you could be remembered as the hero who stopped the invasion of the monarchs and forever be remembered by the people. However,
No one will be able to remember the fight you are getting into now. If you are to lose, the fragments will be waiting for you, and even if you are to win, no one will be there to congratulate you. And you still wish to turn back time?
And Jin just thinks of his answer, and then he closes his eyes and smile. And then we see an image of his mother and sister sitting at home, watching everything happen on TV. We see Cha Hae-in stabbing into one of the beasts. We see Wu in his office, just waiting to see what happens. We see Jino at the office dealing with phone calls and everything. And then Jin opens his eyes. And then he says, I will go back in time. And he stands up. He stands up while he says this. I will go back in time. And then one of the rulers doesn't say anything, but then he says,
So you want to save not just a portion of the world, but the entire world with your own hands. Your will to carry on everything by yourself reminds me of Ashbourne, your successor. I understand. I wish you the best of luck.
Then Jin says, wait. What would happen to the shadow soldiers which didn't exist in the past? Because it shows Jin extending his shadow in the eyes of his soldiers that he's had up until now, just looking out at him. What would happen to the shadow soldiers which didn't exist in the past? Then the monarch answers his question.
Apologies if I'm not switching voices quick enough. I have to go back and forth and I don't want to keep the story back any longer. The beings which overlap with the past would perish, and the beings which do not will remain.
Then Jin smiles. Then his eyes light up and he says, got it. I'm ready now. And then it shows one of the rulers holding up the cup of reincarnation with them saying, because I don't know their genders between the rulers, it could be androgynous. So I'm just saying, with them holding up the cup of reincarnation, says,
May your courage save your world.
And in a flash of light, hopefully my voice is still normal now. With a flash of light, it appears that they use the cup of reincarnation for Jin to go back in time. It shows a flash of light where they're standing, and then it goes outside of where they're standing, and then it goes to the world, and then the light flashes outside of the world, and that's the end of the chapter. Now I can see what you guys have said during chat. Jin's going back in time to defeat all of the monarchs so that they can never come to Earth, and so that these wars can never happen. The thing is, the fragments will remember what's happened. So Jin's going to be fighting people that he's already killed, and they know his moves, and he's going to take on every single one of them. All right, now let me look at chat. Let me look at live chat. Let me see what you guys have said about this chapter. This was a literal opposite of the last chapter we got. The last chapter we got was whole action heavy and action oriented. And now, with barely any dialogue except for the end, now we got a dialogue heavy chapter with barely any action in it. A good juxtaposition, if you will. All right, let me see what you said. Let me say hello to everyone. Cohagen, Castiel, Satchit, Julian, I want to say Julian, Eleonorx. No, I'm saying it wrong. Yes, Ramil, good to see you. Fishery Moss. Johnny, Paulino, good to see you as well. All right, let's see what you all have said. You sound like Mr. Sulu. Oh my. He's one of my favorite voices to do. The rulers are here. If you read from Tappy Toon or web novel, it's the same. It's said in the monster language. If you read apart from these websites, it says Wingdings by Baron. Yes, because I read a part. When I read that chapter when we first encountered Baron against Ashbourne in the past, when the architect had drawn Jin in to try and turn him into the next monarch, but without a human heart, I remember back then that it said Wingdings, but I wasn't reading from Ashita scans during that chapter. No, Antares is the strongest monarch, both in manhwa and light novel. If it wasn't for rulers, Jinwoo would have lost the battle. Additional details, Baron told Ashbourne that it was Antares who ordered them to get rid of Ashbourne using demon language. That's why we can't understand. Aha. I mean, that's what it mentions in this chapter. That's why you can piece it 2 and 2 together. Finally, mystery solved. Way back in chapter 128 or 129. I'll have to look back at that. You can react Shang-Chi 9-minute clip. I have no idea what you're trying to say. Baron asked Ashbourne not to kill him when he confessed, and Ashbourne didn't kill Baron. Ashbourne only trapped Baron inside of himself. Fragment of luminosity, fragment of brilliant light. Yes, yes. Hi, hey, Johnny. Cup of reincarnation, chalice of rebirth. Thanks, Jinwoo and the multiverse of madness. That's exactly what this is. We're gonna get a multiverse of madness before the next Doctor Strange movie. I love the rulers' designs. I do too. Not just their soldiers, but the rulers themselves, because not every single one of them looks the same. It reminds me of the designs to make up the angels of Diablo, such as, what is his name? Tyrion and Uriel and Malthael before he turned to Malthael, the Death Angel. Just their overall designs, they're not all the same. They have each unique designs. Like one has flowing robes that come off of his hands, and another one is more armored looking. The designs of the rulers is magnificent, and it fits with their status. Like, it's just majestic and clean and perfect and pristine. And that's exactly how they should look. That is heavenly drip. That is heavenly drip. I will miss Iron and Speed. Yes, because all the shadows from the past, before the Shadow Army that was inside the rift, that's the army that Jin's gonna have. But the Shadow Army that he's raised since he's been Jin and raised outside, such as Tusk and Iron and Speed and Beru, all of the shadows he created past that point, they'll cease to exist. I'm gonna miss Beru so much. The Shadow Monarch's biggest fanboy, and we're only gonna get the shadows from the past. Before Jin even existed, we're gonna be getting only the shadows that Ashbourne has raised. Oh man. There's Kaisel, he's not going to be there. Tusk isn't going to be there. Greed certainly isn't going to be there. I don't even think Igris is going to be there either. But then again, Igris was called one of the hands of Ashbourne. So maybe Igris will be there. But we'll have to see. I know Belion's going to be there because he was in the past. He was waiting for the power of Ashbourne to reawaken fully. But all the ones that Jin has personally raised, they're all going to be gone. With a flash of light, we got the mother of all cliffhangers. Seriously! Now, let me see what you guys are saying. Julian is saying the exact same thing that I said. Tyrael, Uriel, Malthael, and Imperius. Thank you, Julian. I forgot Imperius's name. Okay, let's see. For all the endings, I never saw a series where everything that happens in history was for nothing at the ends, but I'm happy with it. In the flash of light, one of Earth's greatest warriors has vanished. His name is Vegeta, a proud Saiyan prince. Sung just disrespectful. The world may forget, but we will never forget the Shadow Monarch. This is the beauty of solo leveling, good balance of action and dialogues and conversation with the characters. No need for all-out action always. Exactly. When a writer can balance action and dialogue and even have chapters where action is heavy and even have chapters where dialogue is heavy and it still doesn't interrupt the balance of the chapters overall, you've done good as a writer because you found that perfect balance. Ashbourne's ruler form looks so much better, though. I mean, he was clean as a ruler. Let's not lie here. Wait a minute. Barrow will disappear? Yeah, Julian. The funniest question can be asked to the Monarch of Destruction by the MC. You were on the other side. I killed you. Did you find out what you wanted there? He will shadow him again, so don't worry. If Igris and Beru go away, we will riot. Satchet, just hold yourself. Igris was with Ashbourne from the beginning. He became a Shadow Soldier not too long after Bellion became one. Okay, so Igris and Bellion will still be there, but everyone afterwards, the high-ranking generals afterwards, will not. And Jin's not gonna have any of his daggers. He's not gonna have any of his daggers with him. He's just gonna go back in time. Wait, is he going to have his bag? No, he just says the shadows. I believe if he goes back in time, does he keep his daggers with him? We'll have to see in the next chapter. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, I've reached all the comments that you guys have said. Destruct, hi, am I late? Yes, you are late. We have reached the end of solo leveling. Would you like a synopsis or would you prefer to watch my reaction from the beginning? I won't spoil anything if you choose that route. Just know that this is another good chapter, and just as a little bit of a hint, we're having what someone called Jin in the Multiverse of Madness. Fun fact, Igris actually proclaimed himself as the greatest knight in the history of all humanoid creature, and neither Ashbourne nor Bellion deny this. When you are called the greatest knight in the history of all humanoid creatures, when you call yourself the greatest knight in the history of all humanoid creatures, and neither Bellion nor Ashbourne, and we all know how powerful Ashbourne is, deny this? Neither one of them deny this? That's like Kaido saying, I know how strong you are, and I only have strong people on my crew. You want to join me? That's that level of hype and that level of strength you have when the strongest individual says, we're not, yeah, that's your title. I can't say anything about that. That's all you. Jin can't use the spiritual body manifestation again in the dimensional rift. There's no death there. Oh. Is Jin about to have a moment like the Doomslayer where he just goes into their realm and just fights them for eons? And he's just insanely strong there? Because that's how Doom Guy has done all these years. Like, he went inside of the Hell Rift and fought all these countless demons over and over and over and over and over and over again for eons in history. Just eons in history. And he just fought them to the point where his name was cursed through all demon names. Yeah, you saw the spoilers. People can't stay quiet on the internet. You got to be careful when you're going on social media. Spoilers can pop up. That's the reason why you block words on Twitter, mute words on Twitter, so that nothing even remotely related to a thing you don't want to be spoiled on doesn't spoil you. I got numerous muted words because I don't want to be spoiled on Spider-Man No Way Home because I want to see it for myself. You just got to be careful with spoilers. There are some unsavory people out there that just do it for clout and do it for attention. Just be very, very cautious on the internet. Just all those who were killed receive the experience of death and at the same time retain their memories. Now they may have psychological trauma and they will be afraid to fight with the GG. Your friend spoiled the ending for you? Ah, sorry you got such a rude friend. That reminds me of when, leading up to Obito's reveal in Naruto, I had a friend of mine who we would talk about Naruto Shippuden and how the war was going during the Fourth Great Ninja War. And I was thinking, like, who could it possibly be? And I was thinking in my mind, it might be Obito. There's so many things going towards Obito. And I wanted to confirm my suspicions by the chapter revealing it to me. Unfortunately, however, the morning of that chapter's release, he leaves a text message on my phone, which will display it on the front of my phone. It will display the message on the front of my phone, and I open it up, preparing to read the new chapter, and the very first thing it says in my notifications is, "It's Obito," and I'm thinking, dude, such rudeness. And he was all like, "You knew it was going to be Obito anyway." That's besides the point. I wanted the closure of discovering it myself. Sometimes I forget that my room is not soundproofed. The friend spoiled me. That's why I don't have Twitter. Imagine the sovereign of beastly fangs encountered Jinwoo and run away as fast as the speed of light, especially the sovereign of plague. Yes, Keiresha and the beast monarch. We never got the beast monarch's name, did we? Can anyone help me with website aside from Tappytoon or web novel where everything is in English? I mean, Kohagen, if you can be so kind as to put the link to Ashita Scans, it's just one site. It's the one that I use to read through Solo Leveling. And yes, Ramil has these sites as well. So you can either go to Ashita Scans, Manga Katana, or Manga for Life. And this is where Solo Leveling will be in English. The same was with Toya Todoroki, too. You mean to tell me your friend spoiled you not only on this chapter, but also spoiled you on the identity of Toya Todoroki? No, what you mean, everything, including the actions? What do you mean by actions? Also, Destruct, I don't know about your friend, man, if he's just spoiling everything for you. Have you asked him to stop? No. He will return in time. Do not care about the Army of Shadows. Most importantly, what about the relationship with that girl? What? Oh, right. The relationship with Cha Hae-in. Oh, boy. Stop being friends with that person. See, I can't say that because that would be rude. But at the same time, have you asked your friend to stop spoiling the mangas that you read? If your friend has very genuine respect for you, he will stop. Because there's nothing worse than someone spoiling you on the manga that you read or manhwa that you read, and they just do it for whatever reason. Ask them to stop. There's nothing worse than getting spoiled on a series that you anticipate every week. There's nothing worse than that. Trust me, I know. There's a reason why the no spoilers rule is up here. Jinwoo is death himself, for he is the sovereign of death. See, here's the thing, and I'm going to end it here because I don't want to drag this on any longer than I already have. He summons death to himself, not the place. The thing that gets me about what Jin's about to do is that we've seen him fight monarchs one-on-one. But now he's going to go back in time He spoiled that, and so have you, Destruct. Be very careful. I know you're... Just be careful. The thing that gets me about Jin is... The thing that gets me about Jin is that we've seen him fight the Monarchs one-on-one. But now we're going to be finding, if someone's going to spoil me, might as well spoil the end of the series rather than just the chapter. See, I still try to look forward to each chapter so I can be surprised. But if Jin's going back in time, let me get back on subject here. If Jin's going back in time to fight all of these Monarchs and just keep the invasion of Earth from happening overall, he's going to be fighting all the Monarchs all at once. But he's also going to go back in time when Ashbourne was at the height of his power. Can I make a video explaining all of the chapters so far with light novel counterparts? If I were to make a video discussing the differences between the manhwa chapters that we get and the actual chapters from the light novel, I want to do it when the series is over, because I want to be able to cover every single facet of the story. I want to cover everything. I don't want to do it on like a weekly basis. Know the time when he meets Ashbourne. Oh, okay. That's what you meant. Oh, that's what you meant. That's what you meant. I am so sorry. Hold on. Dang it, I can't undelete your message. Sorry. I thought you were saying a spoiler. Please destruct. My sincerest apologies. I forgot about Jin's previous death at the hand of the Beast Monarch. Please forgive me. Please. I did not mean to do that. I forgot about Jin's first death at the hands of the Beast Monarch when he was fighting the Frost Monarch as well, and he got, gored through the chest. I completely forgot about that. Please forgive me. Funny, the architect will be alive again, so he'll put on his pens when he is resurrected. All the people that Jin has killed, as far as all the monarchs, they're going to remember how Jin killed them. But Jin's going to go back to a time when Ashbourne was at the height of his power, and he's going to have all that power as well, and it's going to be like, well, what do we do? I mean, we all tried to kill this man, but it didn't work. And now he's come to fight all of us, all at once. Guess I'll die. No problem, dude. It happens. Yeah, but Destruct, I still like to be careful, and I didn't mean to jump the gun like that. My sincerest apologies. Both Ashbourne and Jinwoo arise themselves. Nah, he fought 3 monarchs in Korea, right? He did. The Beast Monarch, the Frost Monarch, and the Plague Monarch. So now he's going to be fighting all of them. And does that mean that Legia is going to be there as well? Since he's technically going to be back in time and not going to be bound up in chains? Is he going to be back there too? The Giant Monarch was still in prison, so no Giants. Okay, so no Legia. Thank you, Julian. Your comment popped up at the right time, because I was wondering, are we going to see him fight Legia now? But no, you say he's going to still be in prison, so no Legia, just the rest of the monarchs. The Monarch of Steel Body or Iron Body. Which one is the correct one? Steel Body or Iron Body? The Monarch of Steel Body / Iron Body, the Monarch of Destruction, the Monarch of Plague, the Beast Monarch, the Frost Monarch. I think I'm covering everyone thus far, unless I'm missing one. I'm probably missing one. Oh, Monarch of Transfiguration, and of course, Ashbourne Shadow Monarch himself. Those are the 7. But Jin's gonna fight all 6 of them on his own. I'm not counting Legia. I hope we see Yogumont. I hope we see Yogumont actually do some fighting, because we just saw him speaking to Antares, and then him opening up portals so that the rest of his army can come through. But we haven't seen him actually fight. Jinwoo asks the rulers not to send anything to Earth that includes gates. So no hunters. No hunters association. No guilds. If no gates open up on Earth, and the whole concept of magic does not exist from those gates, then hunters will not exist. Asks the rulers not to send anything to Earth that includes gates, so Legia won't be in prison. Oh, okay. I have a feeling there's only one chapter left. What if Ashbourne doesn't disappear? Then there will be 2 Shadow Monarchs. I think we're starting to step into time paradox territory right now. If Jin goes back in time and Ashbourne is still there in time, then there's 2 Shadow Monarchs that is going to have to contend with the Monarchs themselves. Monarch of Ironbody, Monarch of White Flames. I forgot about Baron. My bad. Monarch of Plague, Monarch of Transfiguration, Monarch of Wild Fang, Monarch of Shadows, and Monarch of Destruction. I completely forgot about Baron. I'm sorry. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 Monarchs overall. Not counting Legia since he's still bound up, I believe. So he has all of those Monarchs, bar himself, to deal with. Jin's got a full plate if he's going back in time to take them all down before they can ever get to Earth, before any of this stuff goes down. Which means that if he goes back in time and takes out the Frost Monarch before anything happens to Earth, if he pretty much just takes out the Frost Monarch specifically, he also stops Go Gun Hee's early death. If you think about it, if you take out the Frost Monarch is what killed Go Gun Hee. So if he takes out the Frost Monarch before that, then he keeps Go Gun Hee from dying in that manner. See how I told you we're entering into paradox territory now? If you take out the Monarch in the past that killed Go Gun Hee in the future, does that mean that Go Gun Hee survives the future? That's the territory that we're entering into right now. Baron was just a boss in the dungeon the architect created. Feel bad for him. Oh, right. He was just a boss. He wasn't even official. He was just a boss left in a dungeon for the architect to propel Jin into more power. Yeah, I kind of feel bad for him. He didn't get his... He only got a moment to fight Jin just for Jin to take him out, take his sword, and take his dragon. And that's it for Baron. He never got re-raised again. He was never used again. He was beaten by Jin, who wasn't even at a fraction of the height of his power. He wasn't even beaten by Jin, who was able to beat Beru in the future. Baron just got tossed to the side like he was nothing and then just used to make Jin stronger. He was cannon fodder for Jin's ascension. Also, what was that daughter's name? One of the Demon Clan daughters that was traveling with Jin? I thought we were going to see more from her, like in the future or something, but she was only there with Jin when Jin was going through the Demon Tower region in order to level himself up and during the path of him getting Kaisel and his Demon King Longsword. But we never saw her again. I forget her name, her exact name, but she traveled with Jin leading up to him defeating Baron. Also, Christopher Reed, but he was one of the national ranks. Right, all the people that died because of the Monarchs. Even Agent Asil. Yes, that's her name. Thank you. It's been so long since I read that chapter. Like a whole year. It's been a year since I read that chapter. I'm pretty sure that was a nerfed Baron version. It can't be that weak, right? I mean, the Radir clan, something like that. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Julian. Thank you, Destruct. Architect be like, no thanks. Now all the demon clans in the dungeon was already dead. This chapter is like we're going back in time and now we got to deal with time travel and what it will do for the future and what it will mean for Jin. Jin is his family. Cuz let me go back. Let me go back and read through the ending chapter of what the ruler said to Jin about the consequences about what he was going to do. So, when Jin said, I will go back in time, the main ruler there said, so you want to save not just a portion of the world, but the entire world with your own hands. Your will to carry on everything by yourself reminds me of Ashbourne, your predecessor. I understand. I wish you the very best of luck. And then Jin asks, what happens to the Shadow Soldiers which didn't exist in the past? I'm gonna end this stream. I just want to go back through what the ruler said and the consequences of his actions. What would happen to the Shadow Soldiers which didn't exist in the past? And then the ruler says, the beings which overlap with the past will perish. So Beru, all of his high-ranking generals, save for Igris and Belion, they're all going to disappear. All of them. And the beings which do not will remain. Got it. I'm ready now. And the ruler says, may your courage save your world. Now, let me go back further. Because we need to talk about the consequences of his actions. And the ruler was talking about this. Here we go. Jin was saying, I lost too many people in this battle and I want to bring them back. And so the ruler says, the durability of the Cup of Reincarnation has almost been exhausted. So this is pretty much the last time it can ever be used, and this is Jin's only chance to make things right. The durability of the Cup of Reincarnation has almost been exhausted. If you are to fail this time, you won't be able to turn back time again. If you stop now, you could be remembered as the hero who stopped the invasion of the monarchs and forever be remembered by the people. If Jin stops now, then he'll pretty much be seen as the hero of the entire world and forever be remembered by everyone. However, no one will be able to remember the fight you are getting into now. So, Jin, if he stopped here, he'll be remembered, but Jin going back in time to do this fight in the past, no one will know about it. If you are to lose, the fragments will be waiting for you, and even if you are to win, no one will be there to congratulate you. And you still wish to turn back time? And Jin says, as he thinks of his family, as he thinks of Cha Hae-in, as he thinks of Wu and Jino, he says, I will go back in time regardless. The consequences. The consequences of going back in time. Here's the thing. I know, here's the thing, Julian. Here's the thing about why I don't have a problem with C-Des saying this about Yogumont. We don't actually confirm the death of Yogumont. His death hasn't been confirmed. So CD-Res saying Yogumont isn't dead, I can't see that as a spoiler because we don't actually confirm his death. We see the only thing we saw of Yogumont in the last few chapters was him getting affected by dragon fear that Jin used, and then taking Antares to a completely different location. We did not confirm the death of Yogumont, so we can have his status being as ambiguous. So it's not really a spoiler if you think about it. Until we see Yogumont's body crumble away, as we did with the Monarch of, let me say this correctly, Monarch of Iron Body, not Steel Body, Monarch of Iron Body, then we can just safely assume that he's still alive. All people died from the time the first gate appeared and will be alive, but the soldiers died before that remain as shadows. At least that's what I understand. You mess with time, it tends to mess back. Tony Stark. Exactly. I told you. We're messing with time manipulation here. That's going to affect the future. Let's see. Not all the... Because Ashbourne annihilated the entire demon's race when Baron betrayed him. That's why the Architect can use all of them, since the system was created by using Ashbourne's power. I thought that someone was about to say what his powers are because someone asked about Yogumont. As far as I know, he's like the Monarch of Transfiguration, and I looked up Transfiguration, and it allows it's like the ability to change one aspect of matter into another aspect of matter. It's just transfiguration. I thought that someone was about to say what his powers are. Where am I reading this? I am reading this on Ashura Scans, the same place I read it all the time, Ajani. But I got to end it here. I've carried on for about 50 minutes. I could have ended it earlier, but having these conversations about the story with you guys it's incredibly enjoyable. Monarch of Portals. Finral from Black Clover's got some competition if that's all Yogumon's being used for. But hopefully Yami doesn't get in contact with him. Hey, I need you to open up a portal. I had too much spicy food last night. And that's all his portals are used for. But overall, the story is now about to enter. The question is how far back in time they're talking. Exactly. We don't know how far back in time they're going. We don't know if we're going back to the time when the Monarchs first invaded Jin's world, or we're going back in time to when the Monarchs first invaded the world entirely. Alright, Destruct, have a good night. Don't stay up too late. Get plenty of rest. But we don't know how far back in time Jin's going. Either his time, just back in time before the Monarchs invaded, or back to when the gates first appeared. We're just gonna have to see. We're just gonna have to see. And if people know, don't say. At least leave some things to be surprised, like for us to find out how far back he goes. If I say we don't know how far back in time we're going, it's rhetorical, which means don't give me an answer to that. So we're just gonna have to wait and see for the next chapter to see how far back he goes. As per Ashbourne's memories, the cup can reverse time by 10 years. Ah. So scratch what I just said. Imagine the rulers messing up and rewinding time by just 3 days. And the cup of reincarnation only has enough juice for one trip, and you only take them back 3 days. Oopsie. If he said they should not send the fragments of light, it means from the beginning. Boy, we are going way back then. That's all I got. That's all I wanted to say. I have to stop. 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 Here we are, ladies and gentlemen, at the precipice of Jin making the biggest decision of his life thus far, going back in time to stop this war from ever being formulated. And we do not know the outcome. At least I don't. And I don't want to know until the very next chapter. What if solo leveling ends before this year is out? We only have 2 more Wednesdays left for this entire year. What if solo leveling ends before this year is out? I'm scared. Hey there, bot. I see you popping up in every single one of my streams. Goodbye! 1 hour stream. See you next week. We're just gonna have to wait, ladies and gentlemen. I hope that I didn't carry on for too long. Hopefully I didn't lose too many of you with how I drone on sometimes about different concepts and details about these chapters. But I hope I was able to cover pretty much everyone's questions and conversation points and discussion points during this entire stream. I love doing this for you guys because I enjoy talking to you in depth about this story because it's a really good story. And I hope you enjoyed the voices that I did for this as well. 2021 solo leveling ends. I don't know. What if it ends this year? It's just something to think about. But nonetheless, I really do hope you guys all enjoyed what I've done for you here today. And I hope you guys enjoyed what all I've done. So it's just an absolute honor and a privilege to be a person. I'm not the person who's doing solo leveling here on YouTube. There's numerous other people who are doing it. But I hope that I'm a person that you all enjoyed to see react to solo leveling. Such an amazing story. All the voices I've done and all the acting that I've done. I really do hope every single one of you enjoyed it. As long as you are entertained, that is all I seek from you. So with that being said, hope you all enjoyed. Can't wait to see you all in my next video. And if you're new to the channel and you enjoyed what you saw here today, well, consider subscribing. Don't feel like you're forced to, but if you enjoyed, then consider the option of subscribing because I am always looking forward to entertaining you. So have a fantastic day. And once again, as always, Later, peoples. Now it's time to go eat some hot breakfast.